Hi, everybody. I'm Sal Damiata, and I am a dating and confidence coach. And today I'm here at the Online Prosperity Show, where we're going to talk about confidence, how to, connect to your masculinity so that you can become an attractive man, authentic attractive man, without being, a robot and without learning useless, seduction techniques, so that you can attract the women that you want with confidence and with the right mindset and alignment.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show. I'm your host, Prosper Taruvinga, and today we've got a guest who's not just about personal development, but is here to sprinkle some Italian flair into our lives. Get ready to meet Sal. Sal, how are you doing, my man?
Hey, Prosper, I'm doing great. Thanks you for having me in this show. I'm super excited to speak about confidence and, how to show up in the best way possible, whether it's for sales, business, or, as we will see later, dating.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait. You see, there's something about the Italian men, the way that you guys dress, the way you guys talk, and everything else about it, and sprinkling of Parmigiana, into everything that you do. Well, for those that are watching right now, you're probably wondering, what am I talking about? Pasta, Parmigiana, and everything else to do with Italian dishes. We're not, making a pizza here, but we're making a fantastic episode on the Online Prosperity Show. And who we have as a guest today is the maestro of personal growth and the brains behind Attraction Truth and Confidence mentor himself. I'm guessing you've already seen how confident he is, how well dressed he is, and how sharp he actually looks. And trust me, this episode is promising to be one of those captivating and should I say one of those best episodes we've actually had. It's like a gondola ride down the Venetian canals as we navigate this whole realm of confidence. Now, Salva, I will go on and on if you don't stop me, my man. All right.
Yeah, man. But your introduction was so good that you talk about Italians, but I think you can write a poetry book because it was so captivating.
I'll
I
tell you.
just wanted to keep listening to you.
Oh, fantastic! I'll tell you
All
something.
right.
While you getting ready for the show, maybe we could just dive right in. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you actually became the confidence mentor.
Yeah, so it all started because my journey started with dating before starting with confidence, and sales. It started because I was exactly the type of client that I coach today. A guy that is insecure, awkward with women, doesn't know how to attract and to talk to the women that maybe he sees outside, at the bars, the clubs, when he's with friends. I was so insecure, so shy that I missed out on many opportunities during my teenage years. And I was frustrated, socially frustrated, because I wasn't able to make friends. And, when I always tried to hit up on women, they always rejected me because they deemed me as, you are too nice. And I wasn't, confident enough to make the move to kiss them. And I was always friend zoned. That pain that I felt simply propelled me to look for some solutions. And I started to read some books about dating. The first ones were from, The Mystery Method, and then The Game from Neil Strauss. And, those books brought me to a mindset where I had to approach. So I went out to the streets and started to talk to many women. And that's, where we come to the 9,000 approaches that I made along, the past 13 years. Okay, not only 1 year. And, I was noticing that I was approaching women, a lot of women, from the cutest one to the regular one, but they were always rejecting me. And they said, there's something wrong, man. Because, statistically speaking, something should happen. Some things did happen, some kisses, some dates, but I was not still, feeling confident around them. And they were perceiving that my vibe was off. And so I understood that there was something wrong with what those books teach too. they teach basically techniques, pre-crafted techniques that make men like robots. They make them act like robots in a pre-formatted way. And I realized, look, if I keep doing this, I will get to 100,000 approaches and still no success. So what's the solution? At the time I was in Barcelona, I was still approaching for 7 years at the time. And I met a guy that was also in the circle of cold approaching. But then he went on to a boot camp where he learned new principles to become successful with women. And those principles basically were based on the concept that you must first solve your subconscious blocks, your inner issues, before coming out and approaching women. And I still didn't understand what this friend told me. And I dismissed him. I said, come on, man, it's all about the techniques, making her that spin turn, doing a cold reading and the hand reading and saying the perfect line, trying to make her laugh. But, all that trying, all that faking actually subcommunicates a deep level of insecurity, low self-worth. It all clicked one night. I was still in Barcelona. Barcelona is a big city. There are many opportunities. And still I was not getting successful. I said, look, if I can't be successful here, there's something wrong with me at this point. I cried that afternoon because still after a lot of approaches, didn't get success. And somehow a door opened for me and I understood, oh, actually, the reason why I'm failing is because my self-image and my subconscious beliefs are not in line with the kind of man that I'm pretending to be. And, man, it was crazy because in one moment, I looked at my subconscious beliefs. It was like the door was open, and I could read my subconscious mind with the beliefs like you're not worthy, you don't believe to be attractive enough for women, you're afraid of intimacy with them, sexual intercourse, because I didn't have a lot of experience with that back then. So I had all those blocks, subconscious blocks, that were basically stopping me from getting the results I wanted. So consciously, I had one force that I was using through my willpower to get the results I wanted. But subconsciously, there was another force that was completely pulling me. That was pulling me in a completely opposite direction and was making me fail. And why? Well, because science shows us that the subconscious controls more than 95% of our life. And it's always the subconscious that takes the hold of the conscious mind. Because the conscious mind basically is run by willpower, but willpower, runs out after a certain time. So the real, recipe for success is changing the subconscious beliefs. And that's what I understood at that moment. Until I change the subconscious beliefs that I have about women, I will not get successful. How did I get those beliefs? Well, because of my past failures, my negative programming got, at school where they bullied me and they spoke low about me. And women rejected me, said bad words about me. Basically, my mind absorbed those concepts and made them true by installing them in my subconscious mind. Okay, now I knew, okay, I'm on a journey now. It's not about the quantity of approaches I make. It's not about 10,000, 20,000 approaches. It's about, okay, what kind of man am I when I'm speaking to that girl? Because I can make 1,000 approaches and speak in a low manner and look like a robot and read the perfect line on that book. But if I don't convey the right energy, the right, the masculinity, if I'm afraid to show my sexual interest, she will not feel that attraction. And so I understood, okay, now it's all about changing my beliefs, changing my energy. What should I do? I was fired at the time also from the company I was working for in Barcelona. It was a sales job that I had. And I had to come back to Italy to live with my parents, because I couldn't support myself. And so I started to make some research. And I also enrolled in a coaching program by Bob Proctor that now passed away. But that program changed my life, man, because it was all about the subconscious mind. It was the missing piece that I needed, to understand how to change the subconscious programs and finally get the results that I wanted. So basically, Bob Proctor in his program, I'll just share some concepts here. He says that before the age of 7, 8, we accept any program we are given, whether it's a good program or a bad program. Why? Because our mind, when we're a child, is programmable like clay, because we do not have a strong identity. And so whatever we're told, we accept it as true, whether it's good for us or not. And he says, okay, those programs come in from your caretakers and friends. And to get them out after, the age of 8, you need to use either repetition or to reprogram your subconscious mind when it's on the alpha and theta state. Those states where the door opens and, the subconscious minds can accept more suggestions. Usually we live in the beta states, and that's where, the conscious mind takes the hold of us. So through that program, I started to, implement the exercises. Then I also put together other exercises that I took from other coaches, and I came out with a unique way to reprogram the subconscious mind. Then I used that system basically to reprogram my mind, to change my beliefs. And what I noticed is that in just, 3 to 6 months of work, I started to see results like that. I was now approaching women, less women, but only the ones that I really liked, with complete presence, with complete confidence. I was going there, I was starting conversations, and I didn't need to prove myself, like, oh, I'm that man, look at me, I'm attractive. No, I just was there, and I realized that I'm attractive by default. I started to, create that belief for me. I said, look, I'm attractive, I'm a man, I take care of me, I have goals. And, that changed basically my whole vibe, and women subconsciously perceived that. Because many people think that, okay, if I say a sentence that looks and sounds cool, I will be cool. But that's not the way. Women especially are very intuitive. They can sense whether a man is congruent, and I want to stress this word, congruent, in his thoughts and actions and emotions, of course, or not. They can tell, okay, 99.9%. But still, men think that, okay, I do like this, I move like an alpha male, I have the alpha pose, I will get, no. She will notice that you're faking that pose because it's not coming from that internal state of congruence, right? But what if you change your internal program and that pose that you will do comes naturally? Now it's a different story. What if the voice you project is not something that you consciously control, but comes naturally? Because look, if you consciously need to look attractive, you have to control every movement. The hands, the voice, the body, the eyes. But can you do it? No, because the conscious mind can focus on one thing at a time. That's why you need to use the subconscious mind that takes care of many. It can process billions of data in a fraction of a second, something that the conscious mind cannot do. And that's why by reprogramming the subconscious mind, you can, yes, look at it a certain way, move a certain way, talk a certain way, and say the right line without thinking about it, because you have aligned yourself subconsciously to that image of the attractive man that you want to be. Realizing this, putting it into practice, I realized, hey man, I was just, doing the hard work for no reasons. A lot of approaches, no results. Now let's do the smart work. Let's reprogram the subconscious mind and attract women just by being present. And I started conversations at that point just with, hey, or are you a tourist? And it ended up in success. Instead of before, I was saying, hey, I was looking at you and you're the perfect woman to approach today. And all staged, all fake. And I turned them off, basically. And man, realizing this changed my life completely. And that's when I started coaching.
Wow. Wow. And thank you so much for taking us through that elaborate journey, because what you are bringing to the table is a whole different perspective. Okay. Because so many men think they can go to the gym, lift heavy things, drink all those protein shakes, and then start walking and talking as if they are the alpha male. And when they answer their phone, they have to show their bicep and then say hello mom.
Exactly. When they sit on the table, they
Yeah,
contract the
you
biceps so
know,
that
everything else. But Sal, tell me something. Just taking you a little bit back to when it all started, when you felt very insecure and awkward and things of that nature. Was that just you going through that, or is that something that nearly all men go through? Because it seemed like a problem that you really wanted to go out and fix.
Yeah. I mean, I see a lot of men having that issue. My issue was just magnetized. I was, in the let's say 5%. I was a very bad case, at that point. Most men, it's a struggle that I think mostly every man go through. But for some men, it's heavy. Naturally, I'm not a tall guy, and I was also skinny. So by how society programs us, as you were saying, if you're not that man that is huge and has a deep voice and what, yeah, you're not considered alpha male, and I accepted those suggestions. So being naturally not looking like an alpha male before, I thought of myself, I will never be successful with women. Just my case was just very bad at the time, and that's why I needed to take action.
Hmm.
But I see still a lot of men today that believe, oh, if I don't have that BMW, I will not have an attractive woman. If I don't have that attractive body, if I don't have whatever job, and then I see men that have any job, any body, any car, succeed with women, because it's not about this. And then we will stress what are the main points. But still, if you see some man, or let's look it from a perspective of a woman. Okay, a woman, she has feminine energy. Okay, what she wants basically is masculine energy from a man, right? Cool. If a man gets a nice car, a nice body, but he's not in his masculinity, he has not developed that internal qualities that will make him able, to protect, provide, um, defend a woman, be confident, speak the truth, face challenges. That man will not be attractive just because he has a piece of metal, a good clothes, or a good body shape. Because when the woman will need him, that man will not have developed that internal, strength. But what if a man has actually developed that internal quality, the masculine qualities that the woman is looking for? Well, now she will be able to get into her femininity, and that's what will turn her on, because now she can lean on that pillar that is the masculine man. We gotta see men as pillars supporting society, basically, because that's what masculine energy does. And feminine energy is about nurturing and being creative, and it's a different quality. So what men actually need is get back into their masculinity, have goals that are worthy for them, face their challenges, and most of all, eradicate their internal demons, their fears, so that they can show up. And whether they get rejected or not doesn't matter, because we all get rejected. Even the top men, the top dogs get rejected. It's not about the rejection. It's about how you can handle the rejection, because it happens in any case, and it will happen because it's statistical certainty, like death, that rejection will happen sooner or later.
Yeah.
And I understood it. By making 9,000 approaches, I got so many thousands of rejections that I then didn't start to care anymore. And that's what got me to the point where, I was rejected by women, but then they saw I didn't care. I said, okay, cool. You don't want to hang out with me? That's totally fine. Have a nice day. And at that moment, oh, what's going on? Like, that guy doesn't care, after years of approaching. And then they changed their minds somehow, not always, but somehow. Because, when they see that internal solidity, that whatever happens outside of you, you do not change your mindset, your frame, your energy, that's attractive. Not only for women, but for everybody. Because
Mm.
that's the quality that tells them, okay, in face of challenges, this man is still there. One piece. He's not fragmented. So if we as a family go through hard times, financially, health-wise, romantically, that man will not give in so easily. So that's attractive right away, to make an example.
I like that. I like that. And obviously, from what you're saying, that really solidifies the message that you get when you get on a flight, that put your mask on first, because if you can solve your own internal problems, then they are not showing on your face or in the way that you're talking or in your mannerisms, as you say, that your subconscious or will be taking care of all these other movements and things like that. Now, you also raised a nice point where you say, rejection is a part of life, where so many people will be rejected, but people these days have gotten so soft. Okay, the success that they have experienced in life is maybe through a video game, where they play a game and then they pass the levels and then they win that game, and that's a success that they've had in their life. And so many other people are now using apps which just seemingly look like it's easy for you to just either swipe right, swipe left, and depending on what mood that person is in, it's a match. All right, so I don't think a lot of people have such exposure to 9,000 counts of rejection. Plus, I think it's 9,001 because you also got rejected from your sales job. All right. So, what strategies can you give to somebody who obviously, with that fear of rejection, would not even attempt because they would rather stay in the cave than to be going out there to be attacked by a saber-toothed tiger?
Perfect. That's a really good question, and there are various answers to that question, and it all depends on which point one man is, and also about his personality and character. So, for men that are dominant and aggressive, and they are risk takers, I would say the best way, because that's what will get them the fastest results, is just to run and smash the wall, take the rejection. Okay, just make it. I was that kind of man, so I just. Okay, I will take the pain. I said, I will take the pain. I accept it. I will just go and make it happen. And then, take a lot of rejections. In that case, the numbers game is useful because you want to take as many rejections as you can so that you desensitize yourself to the event of rejection itself. Because your brain, the more is exposed to one thing, the less importance will give to that thing. It's like video games, as you were talking before. You play violent games. Now it's becoming a routine for you. It's normal to play violent games or to watch porn for someone. It's normal. It's their sexual life. Okay. Maybe the first time you say, a girl would be nice. After 6 months of porn, okay, that's my sex life. Me and the screen. So it's about getting accustomed. So at one point, you take so many rejections, as you will just drinking water. Okay, you rejected me. It's cool. Have a nice day. And then right away you talk to the other girl. And you can even say, oh, that girl even just rejected me. What about you? Like joking, like, I don't care. So the more you take, the better if you are a man that likes to grow fast and is a risk taker. For men that are extremely risk averse and are too afraid of rejections, you can do one thing. Because the subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between imagination and reality. So in your mind, you can imagine approaching a woman and imagine being rejected. That's a technique, a mind technique. Now, it's not happening in real life, so you are controlling the environment, meaning that it's like a dream. When you want to wake up from the dream, you just say, wake up. So you sit down in meditation, you close your eyes, and you imagine yourself going out to the spot where you usually see a lot of attractive women, and you imagine yourself approaching the woman that you like. You see her, you go talk to her, and she rejects you exactly as you project you would be rejected if you go outside. Maybe she says, hey, don't disturb me, hey, go away, whatever you imagine will happen. And take that rejection in your imagination. When it's too painful, stop it. If you can take it, do it many times. That way you will prime your subconscious mind just in your virtual game. It's not a virtual reality headset that doesn't lead you anywhere, just allows you to play with stupid things. That's a real use of virtual reality. Okay, so once you take that rejection in your imagination, you have primed your mind to take that rejection in real life. So once you take it in real life, it will be less painful than it would have been if you just take it like that. And that's a suggestion that can help men that are too afraid of rejection and that are more risk averse.
Fantastic, because it's like sportsmen. Some of the sportsmen, they sit back and close their eyes and imagine themselves shooting hoops or throwing the javelin into wherever it's supposed to be. And the more they do it, if they now do it in real life, that's already a practiced outcome, and they already have accomplished that sort of goal. So this, we're treating it like a sport now, in this instance. Now, you gave us two examples of two types of men, the aggressive type and the one that's a little bit soft spoken. Who are the actual people that benefit the most from your type of coaching? And maybe can you walk us through the sort of transformation that they would experience? And do they also have to go through 9,000 rejections, or you've already done that for them? Now you're just telling them the success stories.
Absolutely, man. Nice questions. All right. So there is only, I will talk about the type of man that will not benefit from my coaching, because there is one type that even when he's given, okay, two things. He is not motivated enough to grow. So his, desire to stay where he is higher than the desire to change. Then I cannot help you. Nobody can help you in that case. Whether it's a fitness coach, it's a dating coach, or whatever, you must want to have that change. That pressure, internal pressure, must be strong, like it was strong for me. And then the mentor can guide you and, avoid you making that 9,000 approaches. Yes, you don't have to do it, because once you reprogram your subconscious mind, basically you will know how to approach the right way. So what I use is a Pareto efficiency system that will allow you to make 20% of the work to make 80% of the results. That's something I developed along the way, and it's a system that is based on approaching and attracting the woman that is most compatible to you as a man. You and you and you and you, based on your character, your future goals, because you don't have to approach every woman. That's what I realized. And not even every woman that attracts you is good for you. Okay, because there are various layers that we must, match. A woman that attracts you sexually doesn't necessarily mean that must convert into a date, because you got to see that values are aligned, future goals are aligned. All right. And even if you want a one night stand, again, that doesn't mean it's a good woman to approach, because you gotta see other things. So once you use that system that is tailored for efficiency, you will not need to go through the 9,000 approaches, of course. One can get successful with 100, 2,000 approaches. That is something that can be done easily in my 4 months program. So the kind of man that will not succeed is also the one that, even when he's given the right guidance, he will not take action because he's lazy. So I don't work with lazy men anymore. I had taken them into my coaching programs before. I've given them all the things they needed, but then, they were just lazy. It's like you have a bottle of water in front of you and you're too lazy to take it, even if you're thirsty. You gotta be thirsty, but then you gotta take action, smart action, Pareto efficiency action. So there's no hope for those men in any realm of life, because things happen if we make them happen, basically. So willpower has a certain place and time, must not be used to make 9,000 approaches, but must be used to make the exercises to reprogram your subconscious mind, must be used to get out of bed and go approaching when it's necessary, must be used to think consciously about positive thoughts, instead of negative thoughts, and must be used to avoid porn and bad habits. That's the place of willpower. But if one is just taken from life and believes, even has a belief that he is hopeless, then it's very hard. So those kind of men usually perform really bad, and it's not good to coach them. But for all other men that are the desire to change, they want to change, they don't care. Like I didn't care. I said, look, I want an attractive woman, and that's it. I don't know what price I'm gonna pay for it, but I wanna pay whatever price. And that's why I made all those approaches. If they have this internal drive, they will become successful, because with my guidance, they will save a lot of time, pain, and effort, and it will just work out by reprogramming their subconscious mind.
Absolutely. And I quite like that because everything just still revolves around them, reprogramming their subconscious mind. And I like that you sort of hinted that it takes about 4 months for you to really work with these men. And somewhat, it sounds like a rite of passage. So, just indulge me a little bit here. Where I come from in Africa, when you get to about 16 years of age, 16 to about 18, the village elders call you up and then they tap you on the shoulder and they say, hey, it's your turn to lead and it's your turn to start a family. So, these are the kind of things that you need to do. This is the kind of person that you need to become in order for you to say, be found attractive by obviously the opposite sex. And it's maybe a week long exercise and you taught all these things and you're groomed and actually then put out there into the market for you to actually start courting and being with a woman that you might marry or a few women like that. So I'm kind of seeing, obviously, in the first world, there's nothing like that. Even your father doesn't walk you in and say, hey, this is what you're supposed to do, son. We're now just left to our devices. We're now just left to our apps. And there's no one who's really giving us that guidance, which now leaves people, like you say, to
Yeah.
the screens and call that their sexual life. Now, would you say that what you are sort of teaching people, taking them through over a 4 month period, is somewhat of a rite of passage that once they're done with it, it's like they have also gone through their 9,000 rejections, but they haven't had to actually go through the worst pain that you went through, but you're now literally showing them how to be, do, and have a happier existence.
Super interesting question. And I mean, to answer that question, I would need to make, an introduction that basically our humankind, our whole societies have evolved thanks to uh, conveying, transmitting knowledge. The old-fashioned way of transmitting knowledge was through words, and then we carve the words into stones, and then we make paintings, and now we then with the paper was invented, and but ancestrally speaking, because now we are talking about the basic human needs, the need of sex, reproduction, and then social safety, but those basic needs were exactly taught the way it's taught in your country. Basically, there's a rite of passage. The man that has more experience has gone through that phase and has mastered it. He's now the mentor, and now he has a mentee and says, look, that's what you got to do, because he's gone through those steps. And as humans, we don't want other people to go through the pain and struggles we've gone through. Right? It's a basic human instinct, because we want to grow while saving time. However, and that's a problem, our society has lost this. And yes, in our first word, usually fathers don't tell young boys, okay, it's the time for you to do this and how to do this. No, young boys are left to themselves, maybe with a book that is bad written, or just to Google how to approach a woman, how to be like a man, how to act like the man. And but it's not the same thing, because now the man doesn't go approaching, doesn't go hunting like with a father, for example. And so it doesn't have the first hand experience, because we learn basically by doing and by observing older people. That's how child learn the most. It's not by reading books and things, by observing. So of course, since our society, we evolved thanks to that way of transmitting knowledge, of course, one will not need to go through those approaches or whatever struggles. If it's hunting, one needs to learn. Doesn't need to get killed or injured, while shooting a bow, for example, just to make a metaphor, because he has learned it from a mentor. So in that same case, is the same. Basically, I know I have walked path that my clients will not need to walk, because I know, look, that road, you don't need to take it. Take this shortcut. Doesn't mean you will not be a man. You will still become a man, but take this shortcut, okay? Don't fake it. Work on your inner issues first, because you gotta do that thing first. So absolutely yes, man. Having that rite of passage, and I also believe it's a rite of passage, and also my clients, man, because they tell me, oh, you are the uncle I never had. You're the father, the brother, big brother. They talk about the uncles, brothers, and fathers, whoever they are most comfortable with. But we are all talking about a male figure that is there to guide you. That's what. That's how they perceive it in their minds. And basically, they look for me for this because they didn't have those figures in their real lives. Because our society takes it for granted. A man who will just become a man. But no, he needs to have good role models. And that's one of the good things that we can take from, uncontaminated cultures like yours. Because evolution doesn't necessarily correspond to being in the first word. Evolution is determined by, then results. Are we evolved? To which extent are we evolved? Or let's take the best of every culture, then we can create a conscious and evolved society. And one of the best things we can take from your culture is to still regard human beings as human beings and lead them empathetically, not with AI, not like robots. I mean, it's an important issue. We are talking about you becoming a man, relating to women, starting a family, protecting, providing. It's a delicate and sensitive issue. And that what will create future leaders. And of course, if we want a strong future society, we need to focus on the youth that is created right now. We have a weak society now because the previous youth has not been mentored well enough, unfortunately. And now they don't convey those messages to the current youth. And so there is like, this need for mentors. That's why there are a lot of coaches. Why we don't trust the traditional institutions as teachers, teachers from institutions anymore, because we know they're not teaching us the basic things of life, how to mate, how to date, how to make money. We need to learn those things online from coaches. We instinctively want to learn those things from people that we see, oh, this man has gone through those things, whether it's a business success, a dating success, a health success. And so it's basically instinctive. We see a man that has those qualities. Okay, I want to get mentored by him, not by the teacher that is institutionally right, that has the certificates and whatever. Okay, we intuitively know who can help us.
Absolutely. Now, Sal, for those that are uninitiated, can you tell us how they can get a hold of you so they can get ready to embark on their own journey of personal growth and transformation?
Yeah, you can shoot me an email at sal@attractiontruth.com if you're interested in the dating, or visit my website, www.attractiontruth.com. If you're interested instead on sales coaching, you can go to my website, confidencementor.com, or shoot me an email at sal@confidencementor.com.
Absolutely. I'll make sure that I will put all those links in the show notes below, and obviously get started on that. Now, there's a lot that you've put together here for us, and I'm just going to encourage the people that are watching this to rewatch this episode again, because there's so many hidden nuggets that when you listen to it for the first time, it's just information. But when you really go in, all the stuff about the subconscious and how right now your little toe is actually growing the nail on there without your brain thinking about that. So certain things are happening in your body that you might think, oh, I'm projecting confidence, whereas your knees are bending and it's showing a lack of confidence. So I really encourage you to join and connect with what Salvatore is talking about there. Now, Sal, as we conclude this episode, obviously you did say the people that you're now working with are where you were before, you know what I mean? And just in the time that you were searching, maybe before you met Bob Proctor, you would have come across a video like this. Now, reflecting on your journey, if you would have seen a video like this, what sort of advice would you have wanted to hear from senior Sal, now that you know what you know about life, so that you don't have to go through the 9,000 rejections and 9,001 rejections?
Yeah, the main advice is to start connecting more with your body awareness and emotional awareness, instead of being too focused in your head with the bits of data taken, and beliefs. oh, this is impossible, or this is not right, talking to that woman in that place is not right. Instead, it's all about relaxing, realizing you are a man, and that your masculine energy is naturally attracted to feminine energy. If you can get this body awareness, breathe in and relax, when you're around women, you will see that there is a force inside you telling you exactly what to do. It's not about a conscious choice. Just like when you kiss a woman, when you have sex with a woman, you're not thinking about how to move, how to make it happen. It just happens. If you can connect to that force inside you, that wisdom that is ancestral and that has helped humanity evolve, and you can be led by that force, and trust that masculine force to lead you, and shut off your conscious mind, then success is guaranteed, because you already know. Basically, the thing is that every man already knows how to attract women, how to interact with women. What they don't know is how to connect with that energy. Once the connection is there, things happen naturally, because it's all about a natural process. The water is always flowing, but many men are just putting dims on the water that flows. If you remove the dim, the water flows naturally, always, anytime, because it's a natural force that is much wiser than what one can consciously conceive.
I like that, because at any given moment, we're here to reproduce. Everything else is extra. We then put it upon ourselves. But if people would come back to those basics and really understand the fundamentals, people will be, do, and have a happier existence. Well, now
Absolutely.
we have sort of come close to the conclusion of the show. I wish we could go on and on, because you've got really interesting stories, my man. What's next? What's on the horizon? What can people expect from Sal? Any exciting projects, ventures that you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, basically, I want to start doing live events, villa retreats, close by, like in the area of Europe, but also like in Barcelona, but also America and Colombia. Villa retreats where we work on the subconscious mind. So we do the inner work on the villa all together in groups, and then we go out in the field, putting out those things to test. And I want to create a movement, basically a tribe, a new tribe of men that is basically going to be looking as a role model for future generations. A movement where men feel united, feel strong, they go approaching with that right alignment and energy, and they grow together, they create those bonds between themselves, and are not afraid of other men, are not afraid of other women, are not afraid of anything, because we are all here together. We must collaborate through men, and then start mating with women, of course.
Absolutely. And just cutting from the piece of cloth that I've already started cutting from, in our culture, we have a statement. I think it's there in English as well. If you want to go far, you go alone. But if you want to go further, you go together. And I think the communities that you're creating and the retreats that you're going to be creating there will definitely be what a lot of men are yearning for out there. I actually think you should go a step further, Sal, because based on what you have told us, you have taken everything that was in the game, everything that was in mystery, in the mystery method, thrown it all out, and you've recreated a new approach. I think you owe us a book.
It's already written. Talk to Her, it's the name of the book. And you can find it on my website, attractiontruth.com/dates.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
But thanks for the suggestion, man.
Absolutely. I knew you had something up your sleeve there. Definitely go look out for that book if you're watching this episode right now. And just teach yourself how to actually play the inner game before you actually start playing the external game. Well, there you have it, folks. Wow, what a journey, from the cobblestone streets of Italy to the rest of the world now, and all the villas around the world. And when you come to Bali, or around these areas, Australia or Asia, just let us know. We'll come and visit you, and we can create a whole community for you as well around here. I think we're going to be calling ourselves the Damiata Men.
Namita, man. Yes, absolutely, man. Absolutely. It will be a pleasure to meet you also in person. And yeah, also to have a part 2 of these, because we can go as deep as you want. We just scratch the surface, to be honest. But I know those nuggets, as you said, spark the interest and maybe create some haha moment for some men, and then they think, okay, that's the path I should take. But thanks for everything, man, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, the pleasure is all mine. It takes two to tango, as you would know. Had you rejected me on coming to the show, then I would have counted my first rejection. But now, and 9,000 more to go. But I really appreciate your time today. And for those that are watching, that's a wrap for this episode with the remarkable Sal. And trust me, if you thought Italian pasta was full of flavor, you haven't experienced the rich insights of Sal, his methods and the way that he's actually started putting himself out there. So be sure to catch this episode again, so you can absorb every bit of wisdom that he has shared. And hey, don't forget to hit the subscribe button while you're at it for more enriching conversations like these. Until next time, keep prospering and don't be afraid of rejection, because it's the only thing that helps you to keep growing. Bye for now.